All right.
Okay. Have you ever been into a situation where you've been into a fight, maybe you were harmless, but someone wanted to pick on you, maybe you were defenseless? Maybe if there was a person trying to pick on you, do you know how to fight? Imagine yourself being in that situation and you wouldn't know what to do. So maybe if it was like a rape, and there was a man just pointing a weapon at you, would you know what to do then? Would you defend yourself or just stay like that? So I suggest that martial arts is a great sport to pick up because you can actually learn self-defense, offense, and counterattack. And it is applicable in real life situations through the tenets of martial arts. There's the mindset and the skills of fighting. And so the tenets of the tenets of martial arts are very necessary and essential to real life situations. Because if you don't have them, then what would shape you to be a great martial artist? So those 5 tenets are perseverance, integrity, self-control, indomitable spirit, and integrity. I'm not going to talk about all 5, but 2 tenets are very important: self-control and integrity. So self-control, I think everyone needs to have self-control. And everyone does have a certain degree up to self-control. So when it comes to self-control, there's emotions. Everyone has emotions. As a human, you need to have one. So when it comes to anger, if you don't control your anger, then what's going to happen? You're going to speak with anger. If you have depression, you're going to think with depression. So if you don't control your emotions, then what's going to happen to you? There's always going to be a negative outcome. I believe everyone has had that happening to them. And so, pretty much the tenets are vital to the vulnerabilities of a person. So if you guys are weak in that area, then you guys won't be able to do very well martial arts. The next one is the mindset. Now, there's a quote. He would say that when your mind is telling you you're done, you're really only 40%, and he had a motto: if it doesn't suck, we don't do it. And that was his way of forcing us to get uncomfortable, to figure out what our baseline was and what our comfort level was. Just turning it upside down. And you can find that in the website by Finch online. So in Finch's article online, he was pretty much saying that there's a 40% and 60% rule. 40% is where you go up to your limits and you think that you're done, but that's not actually the reality of it. In reality, there's 60% more left. But when you go up to that 40%, you're going to think, oh, I'm done. Have you ever guys gotten to a race? You would just run, and all of a sudden 10 seconds into it, you're just tired, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, that's talking about the 40% rule. If you keep on thinking that I can do it, this kind of goes back to the tenets, actually. So if you keep on pushing yourself, you'll actually be able to improve yourself and be able to make yourself a greater person, and you won't have any limits then. Then next, there's this skills of fighting. And when it comes to skills of fighting, everyone needs to know how to fight. Everyone needs to know how to be able to adapt to certain situations. They need to know how to defend, attack, and do counterattack too. And there's actually a quote by Bruce Lee. He had mentioned this: you must be shapeless, formless like water. When you pour water in a bottle, it becomes a bottle. When you pour water in a cup, it becomes a cup. And when it comes to that quote, Bruce Lee is trying to explain the adaptation to how you're supposed to fight. Now, if you think about yourselves, if you self-reflect, how do I adapt to certain situations? I'm pretty sure it's really hard for everyone to adapt into a new social environment, a new work environment, and at first you have to keep on practicing and practicing. So it means that you're supposed to let the energy inside you flow. You're not supposed to let emotions take over your body. You're not supposed to let anything take over your body. Same thing as when I said, don't let depression take over your mind. So don't think with the mind, but just think with the body. And therefore, when you fight, it should always be with the body, just letting the energy flow out. So maybe, for example, when you punch, you're not supposed to be thinking that I'm not going to be able to make it. And so in conclusion, the martial arts is a great way to actually fight, learn self-defense, counterattack, and attack offense through the tenets, mindset, and the skills of fighting. And actually, many of you might be able to find other things more interesting, but martial arts is an alternative that everyone that should take. And it doesn't hurt to actually try, not even once. And it'll be very useful in situations where you're thinking that you're going to be defenseless and useless.
So Ashley, what did you think? You're not here, are you? That would make life too easy. Okay. All right, Matthew, the visualization you have at the beginning is okay, but it seems like it's a little bit awkward. You need to have it planned better. I think you would work better with an actual example to illustrate the point rather than just the hypothetical. You've got a clearly stated goal for the speech. I appreciated that. I was confused as to what the supporting structure was going to be about. It sounded very amorphous. It's a little vague and abstract. When you got to the particular points from the 5 premises that you were going to talk about, that made a little bit more sense, and you said that you were only going to focus on the 2 of them. That's okay also. There turns out to be a 3rd issue that you're going to talk about as well, and that's not really previewed very clearly at the beginning of the speech. The self-control issue is on emotions is kind of it's identified, and you explained the premise there. I don't know how studying martial arts does anything to help you with that, and I thought that there needed to be an explanation or a demonstration of that. It just seems to make a presupposition that it has some sort of impact on that. On the mindset issue, you've got this quote from Finch Online. I don't know what Finch Online is. You need to tell us what that source is and why they are authoritative on this particular subject. The analogy that you have to racing I thought helped a little bit, kind of explain the concept that you're talking about, but it needs to be clearer. The 3rd point was actually about the skills of fighting, which you don't really talk about much except in a very generic way. Learn to adapt, which I thought was okay. The Bruce Lee quote is interesting because I think most people know who Bruce Lee is. That's a martial artist that they would at least be familiar with. But the idea of adapting into particular situations or circumstances still is a little abstract for people who aren't studying martial arts. It might make sense if you were doing a demonstration, but talking about it in this way, I think it is problematic. Thinking with your body, I don't know how you do that. There's not really much of an explanation there. I do think you have a pretty clear conclusion to the speech. You need to look at, well, you look at us pretty consistently. I thought that was fine, but you do have that big piece of paper in your hand that you have to refer to occasionally. That limits your gestures a little bit, and it's it's not as much, it's 6 minutes and 15 seconds, so it's kind of under the time limit. Okay, thank you.